Hi everyone, my name is Brayden, and I'm very excited to be participating in the 2024 Puzzle Advent Calendar. This is a collaborative endeavor between a bunch of puzzle makers and video creators throughout the month of December to show off a brand new puzzle every day. I have the honor of participating in this project once again this year. I have the 18th day this year. Because this is a collaborative endeavor, all of the videos are on a bunch of different channels across YouTube. They're all grouped together into a playlist that I linked in the description. The playlist is updated every day as new videos are released, and tomorrow's video will be uploaded by Yellow Markers, so please go check out their channel tomorrow once you're done watching this one. But for now, this is my puzzle here. I'm actually re-recording this intro about 12 hours before it's meant to go up on YouTube because I just discovered someone else beat me to it. I thought I did my research properly, but no, it turns out another creator actually made this puzzle in 2019. I didn't know it existed until just now, less than an hour ago, but I can't lay claim to this puzzle. The previous creator called this the Bevel star, and I will link the original in the description. That being said, this is a parallel invention as I didn't know of the existence of the other creator's puzzle at the time. Now I'll continue with the rest of the video. Mechanically, this puzzle is equivalent to an edges-only curvy copter. So let me bring that in here. So this is a curvy copter, and you can see that it turns like this. If I were to orient this puzzle like that, like that, then you would see this right here, and I'll turn it just like that. So this piece with the hole in it in there, that is the centerpiece that everything is rotating around. And then these pieces right here are the pedals on the curvy copter. And then there are no corners because the cuts are not as deep. So as you can see, this is how the puzzle turns. This puzzle actually is also bandaged in the same way that a curvy copter is. So if I were to make the typical jumbling move on a curvy copter, where you turn this up by a certain number of degrees, turn this up by the same number of degrees, this is now blocked. So there was a solution to that in the Curvy Copter Plus, which I currently have scrambled. So if you do that same thing, turn this up and then this one, now this is unblocked because there's that extra cut here. I don't actually have that extra cut on this puzzle. So you can do that same jumbling move, turn this part up, then turn this part up, and now this one right here is blocked. I do have plans in the future to make some new pieces that have these cuts right through here. For now, I haven't done that though, as that would introduce a new piece type, and I like the purity of just this solid. So the way this puzzle turns, as you can see, is very straightforward. There's only one piece type that's exposed. This puzzle isn't very difficult to solve. That being said, it's sometimes difficult to see when this puzzle is solved. So even seeing it from this angle in particular, can you automatically tell that the puzzle is solved? Maybe, maybe not. So what exactly is this shape? So if we're looking at it from this angle, let's take the white face as an example. This actually is the white face. Now it doesn't look like much of a face because none of the stickers are actually adjacent to any of the other stickers. But this isn't a random shape for the puzzle. All the faces are sort of intersecting each other, but this is actually a rhombic dodecahedron. It's not a typical rhombic dodecahedron. A normal rhombic dodecahedron looks like this, for example. This is a crazy comet, which is equivalent, exactly identical to a Curvy Copter Plus. This is a typical standard rhombic dodecahedron. The rhombic dodecahedron has 3 stellations, which I will show on screen here. I got this image from Wolfram Math World. So on the left of this image, we have the first stellation of the rhombic dodecahedron. Then in the middle, we have the second stellation. And then on the right, we have the third stellation of the rhombic dodecahedron. Basically, if you take the faces of the actual rhombic dodecahedron, and if you extend them out until they meet with other faces, you can get new shapes. You can get a new polyhedron. And this happens with other shapes too, not just the rhombic dodecahedron. So this puzzle here is created using the second stellation of the rhombic dodecahedron. Some of you may be looking at this puzzle and saying, oh, that actually looks quite like an Alexander's star. And you're right, it's exactly the same idea as an Alexander's star. So in this case, this is the second stellation of the pentagonal dodecahedron, or the regular dodecahedron. This shape right here is called the Great Dodecahedron. the geometry lends itself very well to an edges-only puzzle, so this is effectively an edges-only Megaminx. So whereas this puzzle turns like that, this puzzle turns like that, all you're left with is the edges. The centers are buried in here, so that's the centers, that's buried in there. Here the center is exposed, and then the cuts aren't deep enough to see any corners, whereas on the Megaminx you have corners. So in exactly the same way, you can say this is a face-turning rhombic dodecahedron. This is the equivalent Alexander's star type of puzzle to this rhombic dodecahedron. So where this diamond center is, well, that's in here. Okay, so in general, I really like this idea of finding geometry where all the cuts go through the edges of the solid itself. If I decided to create a solid just like this with actually no cuts at all, if it wasn't even a puzzle, if it was just a solid, if I put stickers on that anyway, it would really look identical to the thing that I'm holding right here. And I find that really interesting. Last year I actually created a puzzle that was similar to that as well. I created this excavated crystal. This is effectively an edges-only Pyraminx crystal. So again, it's a geometry where I'm only cutting through the edges of the polyhedron itself. And again, I think that's really interesting. In the future, I think it would be cool to find a geometry that creates something that isn't an edges-only puzzle. I have a few ideas, but I haven't executed any of those yet. I think if you designed a similar puzzle using the first stellation of the rhombic dodecahedron instead, it wouldn't actually be a puzzle. So let me flash that image on the screen for a second. So if you imagine cuts along the edges of the solid itself, you would end up with just trivial tips. Okay, so this puzzle, I think it turns pretty well. The way that I need to turn it, I would say I grip it with on the triangle parts of the grip. I have to sort of grab it right there and then turn it like that. Maybe thumb on the bottom, that sort of grip right there. It turns pretty well. It might catch in a few places. I might have not done enough sanding. And the pieces are maybe a little bit more loose than I would like. I could spend some more time adjusting the tensions later. I think the potential is there, even if the current form isn't exactly perfect. That's because there aren't that many pieces in this puzzle anyway. So let me show you, I'll turn it a few times. I am concerned with scrambling it. I think it might be a little too easy to not be able to tell when it's solved anymore, so I want to be careful with that. I do think this puzzle is quite beautiful. I originally designed this puzzle in 2017. Even then, I wasn't really sure of what to call it for a long time. Alright, doing some time travel editing, I now know that this puzzle was already created 5 years ago, and it's called the Bevel Star, so actually my naming issue turned out to be solved for me. Anyway, back to the video. I think Alexander's Star, I don't know, I'd say that this puzzle is the closest equivalent to this puzzle here, because they're both an edges-only puzzle that is made from the second stellation of the original solid that it came from. So I think that's a very particular thing that both these puzzles satisfy. I don't know if there are any others, but I have some other ideas for some puzzles I will create in the future. I could keep talking about stellations all day. I do want to keep this video reasonably short. I'm aiming to break my recent trend and actually put out another video before next year's advent calendar, so please keep updated and subscribe if you feel like it. Otherwise, please check out the Puzzle Advent Calendar playlist and check out Yellow Marker's channel for tomorrow's Puzzle Advent Calendar video. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching.